Darling.
Everything is about to fall apart. And the worst part is they don't even see it coming. Episode 9. Pharos. Feels like the calm before a storm that could destroy every bond we thought was finally healing. Because just when forgiveness begins, fate steps in with something far more dangerous. Episode 9 of Outlander Season 8 opens with a heavy sense of tension that never really leaves. The emotional reunion between William and Jamie from the previous episode hasn't had time to settle, and already cracks are starting to show again. But this time, the threat isn't coming from within, it's coming from the outside. William is no longer the same person we saw earlier in the season. There's a quiet shift in him now. He's thinking more, reacting less, and for the first time he's carrying the weight of truth instead of running from it. But that doesn't mean he's at peace. In fact, it feels like he's standing on the edge of something he doesn't fully understand yet. His connection with Jamie is fragile, strong enough to exist, but still too new to survive pressure. And pressure is exactly what arrives. The news about Lord John doesn't come gently. It hits like a shockwave. There's no time to process, no time to question. Just a single realization: he's in danger, and every second matters. The moment this truth lands, everything changes. Whatever distance existed between William and Jamie suddenly feels meaningless. Because when someone's life is on the line, pride doesn't matter anymore. But here's where the episode becomes truly powerful. Neither of them says what they're really feeling. Instead of emotional conversations, we get silence. Looks. Tension. The kind of unspoken understanding that feels heavier than words. William wants to act, but he doesn't know how far he can trust Jamie yet. Jamie, on the other hand, doesn't hesitate, but you can feel that this isn't just about saving Lord John. It's about proving something, maybe to William, maybe to himself. And then there's Percy. His presence adds a layer of uncertainty that makes everything more dangerous. Because Percy is unpredictable. His past actions have already shown that he's capable of betrayal, but now there's something different about him. There's hesitation, conflict, almost like he's being pulled in two directions at once. And that raises a question no one can answer yet. Can he actually be trusted when it matters most? As the plan to reach Lord John slowly begins to take shape, nothing feels secure. Every step forward feels risky. Every decision carries consequences. And the deeper they move into this situation, the clearer it becomes, this isn't going to be a simple rescue. Because whoever is behind this is prepared. Meanwhile, the emotional weight continues to build beneath the surface. William is forced to confront something he's been avoiding for a long time. The reality that the people he once questioned might be the only ones he can rely on now. And Jamie, without saying it directly, is trying to hold everything together before it slips out of his control again. But the real tension of this episode doesn't come from what's happening. It comes from what might happen next. There's a constant feeling that something bigger is moving in the background. Something they haven't fully seen yet. And as the episode progresses, that feeling only grows stronger. Because saving one life might risk losing everything else. While the tension around Lord John continues to rise, the focus quietly shifts toward Fraser. And this is where the episode begins to feel even more unpredictable. Because unlike the others, Claire isn't waiting for answers, she's searching for them. There's a sense of urgency in everything she does. Every movement feels intentional, every decision driven by instinct rather than certainty. She knows something is wrong, even if she doesn't have all the pieces yet. And that instinct, something we've seen guide her time and time again, is stronger than ever here. What makes this part of the episode so compelling is the isolation. Claire isn't surrounded by reassurance or support. Instead, she's operating in a space filled with doubt and incomplete information. And yet, she moves forward anyway. Not because she's sure, but because she has no other choice. Her connection to Jamie Fraser becomes the emotional anchor of this section. Even when they're not physically together, his presence is felt in her decisions. It's not just love, it's something deeper, something built over years of survival, loss, and impossible choices. And now, that bond is being tested again. There are subtle hints that Claire is preparing for something far more dangerous than she's letting on. The way she observes, the way she listens, it's almost as if she's anticipating a moment that hasn't arrived yet. And when she begins to act more directly, taking risks she normally wouldn't, it becomes clear that she's no longer just reacting to events. She's stepping into them. At the same time, the mystery surrounding the gemstones begins to unfold through Fanny. What initially seemed like a small, almost insignificant moment in the previous episode now starts to carry real weight. The buzzing sound she heard, it wasn't random. It meant something. There's a strange pull toward the stones, something that goes beyond curiosity. It feels almost personal. And as Fanny becomes more aware of it, the danger quietly increases. Because in the world of Outlander, nothing connected to time travel is ever simple or safe. The possibility of a portal nearby changes everything. If Fanny truly finds a way through, it wouldn't just affect her, it would ripple through every storyline. And the episode carefully builds this idea without confirming it outright. We don't get clear answers, only signs, hints, and growing tension. What's especially interesting is how Claire and Fanny's paths seem to be slowly moving toward each other. They're both searching, both sensing that something isn't right, but from completely different directions. Claire is guided by experience, by knowledge of what time travel can do. Fanny, on the other hand, is stepping into something she doesn't fully understand. And that contrast creates a quiet but powerful suspense. Because if those two paths collide, it won't just be a discovery, it will be a decision. One that could change everything. As this section unfolds, the pacing becomes more intense, not through action but through anticipation. Every scene feels like it's leading somewhere important, even if we can't see it yet. The questions start to pile up. Is Claire preparing to follow Jamie into danger? Is Fanny about to cross a line she can't return from? And most importantly, are these events connected in ways no one has realized yet? By the end of this section, one thing becomes clear. This isn't just about rescue or survival anymore. It's about choices. And in this world, every choice comes with a cost. As episode 9, Pharos, moves toward its final stretch, everything begins to tighten at once. The emotional tension, the unanswered questions, the quiet fears, they all start turning into something real. And this is where Outlander does what it does best. It brings every storyline to the edge at the same time. The situation surrounding Lord John Grey becomes far more serious than anyone expected. What once felt like a rescue mission now starts to feel like a race against something much darker. There are signs, small but impossible to ignore, that he's not just being held, he's being used. And that changes everything. Because if Lord John is part of a larger plan, then saving him won't be enough. When William Ransom and Jamie Fraser finally move into action, the tension between them doesn't disappear. It transforms. There's still distance, still things left unsaid, but now it's mixed with urgency. They don't have the luxury of working through their emotions anymore. They have to trust each other, even if that trust isn't fully built yet. And that creates a powerful dynamic. Every move they make feels sharp, calculated, and slightly uncertain. Not because they lack skill, but because they're still learning how to stand on the same side. There are moments where it almost falls apart, where hesitation creeps in, where past wounds threaten to resurface. But each time, something pulls them back. Not forgiveness, not yet, but necessity. Meanwhile, Percy's role becomes even more complicated. There's a turning point where his intentions can no longer stay hidden behind half-truths. He's forced into a position where he has to choose. And for the first time, it genuinely feels like he might choose differently. Not out of loyalty, but out of something more human, guilt, perhaps, or even care. But the episode doesn't make it easy to believe him. Every action he takes raises as many questions as it answers. And just when it feels like he might help, there's always that lingering doubt. Is this redemption, or another layer of deception? At the same time, Claire's storyline begins to move faster. The sense that she's getting closer to something important becomes undeniable. There's a moment, quiet but powerful, where it feels like everything clicks into place for her. Not fully, not clearly, but enough to push her forward without hesitation. And that's when the danger truly begins. Because Claire doesn't wait for confirmation. She acts on instinct. And in doing so, she steps directly into the unknown. Whether it's connected to Jamie, the gemstones, or something even bigger, the episode leaves that question hanging in a way that feels intentional. Then comes Fanny. Her storyline reaches a critical point, one that feels small on the surface but carries massive consequences. The pull of the gemstone is stronger now. It's no longer just a strange sensation, it's a choice waiting to be made. Step forward or walk away. And the way the episode builds this moment is subtle but intense. There's no rush, no forced drama. Just a quiet realization that whatever happens next can't be undone. As all these threads begin to overlap, the meaning of Pharos starts to take shape. A signal. A warning. A light in the distance that guides, but doesn't guarantee safety. Every character is moving toward something they believe will lead them forward. But not all paths lead where they expect. By the end of the episode, nothing is fully resolved, but everything is set in motion. The rescue is no longer simple. The war is no longer distant. And the emotional bonds that once felt stable are now being tested under pressure. There's a lingering feeling that the next step won't just change the story. It will redefine it. Because in this world, survival isn't just about staying alive. It's about what you're willing to risk, to save the people you can't lose. And just when it feels like the episode has given us enough tension, it leaves us with something even more dangerous: uncertainty. Because Pharos doesn't end with answers. It ends with momentum. Every character is now moving forward, but not together, not yet. Jamie Fraser and William Ransom are stepping into a situation where one wrong move could cost them everything. Their fragile understanding is about to be tested in ways neither of them is ready for. And if they fail, not just as fighters but as father and son, then saving Lord John Grey might not even be possible. At the same time, Claire Fraser is moving closer to a truth that feels bigger than just one mission. There's a growing sense that whatever she's about to discover won't just affect Jamie. It could change the direction of everything. And knowing Claire, once she sees that path clearly, there's no turning back. Then there's Fanny, standing at the edge of something unknown. Her story feels quiet compared to the others, but it might be the most important of all. Because if she takes that step, if she follows the call of the gemstone, then we're not just talking about distance anymore. We're talking about time itself being broken open again. And if that happens, the consequences won't be small. They'll echo across every storyline. That's what makes this episode so powerful. It doesn't rely on big action or shocking twists alone. Instead, it builds a deep, steady pressure. The kind that makes you feel like something is coming, even if you can't see it yet. And when everything finally collides, it won't feel sudden. It will feel inevitable. With the war getting closer, alliances shifting, and emotions running deeper than ever, Episode 9 sets the stage for something massive. Not just in scale, but in impact. Because from here on out, every decision matters. Every risk counts. And not everyone will make it through unchanged. So now the real question is, what happens next? Will William and Jamie succeed in saving Lord John, or will they arrive too late? Will Claire uncover the truth before it's too dangerous to act on it? And most importantly, will Fanny actually step through that door and change everything forever? The story is no longer building. It's about to explode. What do you think is coming next?